What's up, guys? We're here with you again tonight. It's Friday night, February 2, and Nick and I are here, and we wanted to jump on live stream to our loyal customers. We love all of our customers dearly, and just tell you what we've been up to, and do just a little recap, and then we'll be taking some questions if there are any. So the month of January, we were pretty spread thin. We worked our tails off, but let's see, what did we do, Nick? We glued up a bunch of customs,
Did a ton of customs.
whole bunch of customs.
Got a bunch of Buckeye ready.
Yeah, we did a lot of casting, a lot of stabilizing, and did a few reworks. Not that many. Our big rework month will be actually February here, and we got to knock out a bunch of customs because we're a little bit behind on our lead time. So we got to get that done. And we got new shot collars for the dogs.
Yes.
Finally, they're gonna be good. We had shot collars, but they were junk. So
Well, they weren't too bad for the price.
they were pretty good. They got wet and then they didn't work anymore. So and then we're almost finished with the whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch, 11 B model 3-piece recurves, and there's some really pretty ones in there.
Oh yeah.
And those will be in stock here in a couple weeks.
And a bunch of them that are under 30 or under 40.
Yeah, excellent target bows.
We got 40 pounders ready to go.
Hey John.
Couple other.
Hey Dawn. Let's see what we're looking at her. We're not very
I'll
techy.
scoot that over. So
We can make sawdust stuff. Let's see. You guys did a great job on my Schaefer silver too. Oh yeah, Tom. Yeah, that was fun. That was one of the coolest bows, Tom, that I've ever worked on. That hinge, it was a for those of you that don't know, it was a 2-piece longbow, and it had a hinge design, a real subtle hinge design. I never really seen one quite like that. I've seen the Robertson hinge, but this one was really low profile, and then it had beautiful checkering on it, and some beautiful wood. It was a gorgeous bow, and it shot amazing. So we reduced it and restored it. So, let's see.
How was the movie?
How were the movies? Oh, yeah, Bill. I watched both those movies. Yeah. So Bill gave me some references to watch Jeremiah Johnson and Deliverance. Now, I really like Deliverance. Jeremiah Johnson was good, but it was really sad. I thought that movie was really sad. But definitely very good selections, and I would recommend those to anyone that wants to watch some movies with some traditional equipment, bows for sure. It's funny, in the movie Deliverance, Nick and I thought it was a 1-piece bear bow, and he thought it was a 3-piece bear bow in the movie, and we were actually both right, because at the start of the movie, he's using a 3-piece aluminum riser bear takedown, right?
I think so.
We think it's a bear. We for sure know in the last part of the movie it was a bear 1-piece, maybe like a Kodiak Hunter or
something like that.
Yeah, it was definitely a wood 1-piece bear, but they used 2 different bows in that movie. But that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool movie and the way they use those bear bows. So,
and I take it it's buffering for some folks.
Oh yeah, it might not be loading very good for some folks. Hello from Minnesota. Yeah, Itasca. I know who you are. I can't think of your name right now. I know what bow I built for you, but yeah, hi, hey to Minnesota there. So so yeah. Oh, today something really cool happened. Hi from Long Island. Hey, how's it going? So Bill Foreman stopped in today, and as you guys know, he was the original owner of Great Plains. I bought it from him 9 years ago, and he had a whole load full of vintage bows, and so we did a little negotiating, and I ended up buying all 9 of those bows. So we're gonna do some pretty cool stuff in the future, and one of the things we're gonna do is we're going to do restorations where, actually I have a fellow sending me a bow right now where we are going to restore the bow on video, and he's giving me the bow, but he said I need to pay it forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restore the bow on video on YouTube for you guys, and then we're going to give that bow away to somebody that has never had a traditional bow that wants to get into it, and preferably it doesn't have to be a young archer, but a young archer would be nice.
Somebody new to traditional.
Yeah, somebody
bows in
new
general.
to traditional archery that wants to get into it, but maybe doesn't have the money. And we're gonna take this bow, we're gonna restore it, make it beautiful, tune
Build
it
a
to
set of
perfection.
arrows
Yeah,
for it.
we'll build a set of arrows for it, and we're gonna give it away. So be looking for that. We're excited about that. Let's see. Oh, they got the buffering fixed. Good deal. Good deal. John Jones, he's a good friend of mine. John is the one that owned the two Bear Cobra ones, or not Browning Cobra ones, not Bear. Those were some cool little bows. They are on their way to you, John. They did ship out, so you'll be getting those. And David says, really enjoy your content. Thank you, David. We enjoy making videos for you guys. And restoration vids are amazing. Very important. Yeah. So we're just making sawdust, but I'll be honest, as a bowyer, one of the most enjoyable things that I do is working on other bowyers' bows, because that is when I learn the most. I love building my own line of bows, but the challenge put before me to fix a broken riser or fill holes or fix a horrible twist, I love those challenges. Absolutely love them. And so I appreciate all you guys that allow me to work on your bows, that trust me to work on your bows. That means a lot to me. And there's not a single restoration that I don't learn something from. So I've got, well, with these bows, I've got about 50 bows waiting on me to rework and restore at this time. So it's going to be a crazy busy year.
February is going to be a very, very busy month.
Yeah, it's going to be intense. It's going to be intense. So, will we see you at any shows in the future? David, I right now I am planning on Compton's. That's one of my favorite shows, all-time favorite. I love the country. I love that. Is it the St. Joseph River that flows through there? It's so beautiful. So I love the terrain, and the people are great. And so Compton's is I'm gonna try to make Compton's this year. Other than that, we may attend. I was gonna say the High Country shoot, but no, that's about the same time as Compton's. So as of this time, just plan on us for Compton's. I can't say any others at this point.
And then, what type of bows in higher demand for you? Long or recurve?
John, that kind of varies. It's it's weird because you'll have a couple months where it's solid recurves. Well, not solid, but 60 or 70% selling recurves, and then the next month it'll be 67% longbows. Lately, what would you say?
I'd say it's about an even split.
Yeah, I
right
would
now.
say it's been about 50-50 right now.
And let's see, did you guys discontinue the hill style bow? Nope. I glued one up the other day.
We didn't, but we can't keep them in stock. As soon as we get them on the website, they sell out. And we've learned from a couple of our feedback, a couple guys' feedback from our customers, that our heel style, it's a little different. It's not, I don't know, some people say it's not a true heel style. And it kind of isn't, because the way we've designed it is to be a high performance heel style. And so it's kind of found its own niche. It kind of bridges the gap between your completely historical vintage heel style with the riser basically glued to the belly of the bow and big thick laminations, to more of the modern heel styles. It's kind of in that gap there. So it's a real high performance heel style bow, but it does have sort of a locator in the throat of the grip, like this bow here. I can't lift it because Nick's phone's on there, but it doesn't have the straight grip, so it sort of bridges that gap. And because it's found its niche, it really sells out quick when we get a batch of them. We will have a 64-inch, I know.
There's that grip you were talking
Yeah,
about.
so you got this, the throat here. See, on a regular heel style, or a vintage one, it's completely straight there. So, let's see. Will you go to Etar? I would love to go to Etar. I've been twice. It's beautiful. It's an awesome place. I love Pennsylvania, but you know what? It's 23 and a half hours from us. And with just Nick and I in the shop, with the volume of orders that we have, it's pretty difficult to spend that kind of time away from the shop. So it's pretty unlikely. I wouldn't say it's out of the question, but it's probably unlikely that we'll go to Etar. I've got what might be a bit of a basic question, but I'll ask all the same. How do you get rid of a limb twist? Do you sand the side it twists to, or the other? Good question. That's an excellent question. And we are going to do a video, and we're gonna approach it this way, that for people that want to try to address a limb twist at home, they will be able to. We're gonna give some information on how to do that, and then we're gonna show how to do it. I call it mechanically. That's not really the correct term, but where I actually take material off of the limb. You can most definitely correct a limb twist without taking material off. Sometimes it doesn't stay, sometimes it does stay. The only way to really make it stay is to actually remove material from the limb. But there's a good chance that if you correct it without removing material, it will stay. Now the best way to do that is to, well shoot, I'm doing one now. Let me go grab it. I'll show you.
Let's see. While we're waiting on him, if it's the bow I'm thinking of. Yes, that's one of them that Bill.
Okay, yeah, this is a super cool bow right here. And this here is a herder's. Let's see if you guys can see it here. Bailey says go down with it. That's a herder's big old target bow. I call these little things horns, but it's pretty cool. That's just a big chunk of wood right there. But if you'll see here, I'm going to put this so you can see. You see how I've got that limb? I've got a spring clamp on there. And then I've got a rag protecting the limb. Where the spring clamp is on the string, you don't have to protect that because obviously your string is between the spring clamp and the limb. But on this side, I've got a rag protecting that. So what you do is, depending on how bad the twist is, and that just comes by feel, but you can take your time and not go too fast and you can get it. Say it's just a mild twist, you just carefully move this string over, as you can see I've got there. I hope you guys can see this. Maybe that's a better angle. You move that string over like that out of the string groove, and then you go ahead and put your spring clamp on. And we have an oven, a big bow oven, you know, it runs about 140 degrees. So I'll put this in there for about 30 minutes, and that's really important. You do not want to overheat these for sure on an older bow, but basically you just want to get it to around 100 degrees. And if you've got one of the infrared thermometers, you can pick one of those up real cheap. You can get one on Amazon. You can just point it and see what it is. But if you don't have an oven or any sort of bow oven, you can just get your wife's hair dryer, or if you have a heat gun, and just be patient with it and heat both sides of that limb evenly. Just run it and heat it. And if you can check it, you know, run it to 100 degrees. If you can't, just kind of use your best judgment there. Once you have heated both sides, once you have it twisted over and clamped, and you've heated both limbs to about 100 degrees, let it sit for 24 hours, just like this. So you're gonna just hang it up, and I wouldn't hang it on the string because it's a little bit of a vulnerable position here. I'd probably hang it somewhere on the fades. You could also lay it flat and just let it sit for 24 hours. And a lot of times, if it's not a bad twist, you'll take it out first try. If you don't take it out first try, no worries. Just keep working with it and do it again. And if you need to move them over a little bit more, go ahead. Now, one thing I will say, when you're moving this limb over, be very careful, that you have full control of it, because I don't have to tell you this, but I'm going to anyway. Obviously, if that string comes out of the string grooves, there's going to be some interesting consequences. So, you don't want that to happen. Just be really careful when you're moving that over. But I actually do. If I have a bow that has a serious twist, I will do this method first before I take material off the side, just to take a little bit of it out so it's manageable. You can take it all out doing this. It just takes a little bit longer. So that was quite a lengthy explanation, but I wanted to make it understandable for everybody.
All right, on to the next one. How about some hill style, or how about some hill styles with plain glass, brown, green, white, etc. We actually did a handful of those.
We did.
Not that well. When we did that run of them,
Yeah, we did. And
there was the Osage one with green glass. We were doing either Osage risers on those, right?
Yeah, and they sold very fast. My favorite was we did a Osage riser with green glass. Oh, that was awesome, and it shot so beautifully.
And it was only what, 37 pounds?
Yeah, it was down in the 30s, but it was a cool bow. So yeah, we'll be doing more of those.
Let's see. Do you have advice?
Wait, you missed that. It's. Oh yeah, I got
Do
you.
you have advice for a custom bow addiction? Well,
buy more. Feed that addiction. Oh, that's a good one.
let's see.
Your three-piece longbow looks killer. Do you have a plan to build any for? Yes, we do, Frank. Our bit here again. Our biggest problem is we have 14 different series, and in order to run a set of in-stock bows, when we run in-stock bows, we do all the same series because that's how we are efficient. So yes, we love the three-piece longbow, and we would love to build more of them, but we just
And those Texas long curves along with it.
the Texas the Texas long curve. Oh, those are awesome.
Those are.
But and this is kind of bad, but we kind of build what we sell the most of, and I hate to say that because I would like to build some of these others that we don't sell quite as many of because we love them. They're awesome bows. And you probably noticed that you'll see more Swift builds, R&D longbow in stock builds, that kind of stuff. But yeah, let's just make a point to do a run of three-piece longbows this year.
All right.
Let's just do that.
Let's see.
What's your feeling on reducing weight on a recurve? What's my feeling? I do it all the time. Many of them every year, so it's very easy to do. So you just don't want to go too low where you compromise the bow. I'll never go to where I take enough glass off to where I'll compromise the integrity of the bow or the longevity of it. So, how about your progress with ILF? Okay, the question is, how about your progress with ILF risers? I don't know if I talked about this last month, but I have decided not to pursue that at this time. I know what I built works. I know it's awesome, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the way it looks. But I'm not set up for it, and I do not have the time right now to jig up for it. So that's going to be put on pause for now. I do apologize for that. It was a lot of fun. The designing of it and the testing of it was a ton of fun. But I was maybe a bit premature in showing it to the public, so I'm going to put that on pause for now.
Do you ship bows overseas like Australia? Because I really want to get one.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
All the time.
Europe, Australia.
I will say this about Australia, and you probably already know this. The customs in Australia are probably the highest of any country that we ship to. So just be aware of that. We can put a low dollar amount on the box. If you're okay with that, we'll do whatever you ask us to. That doesn't cover your bow very much if something happens to it, but we will do that for you. If we put the full amount on the box, it's probably going to be around $250 in customs when they allow you to come get it. They'll probably charge you that.
What's your opinion on keeping bows strung, not for long term?
Well,
I strung that one about 2 years ago.
yep. Still, you can keep all of our bows strung.
Just don't let them get hot.
Just don't. Two things. Don't ever let them get hot over 100 degrees. Here, let me see that bow.
Yep.
And do not store them in the corner on their tip. And don't even store them that way if they're unstrung. But for sure, if they're strung, do not store them like that. But our bows are designed to be strung all the time, so you can leave them strung.
Yeah, that one's been strung 2 years now.
Yeah. I a lot of times keep my hunting bow strung. So, okay, I'm trying to lose a few pounds of draw weight too, so removing material is preferred. Yep. Thanks for a great answer. Okay. Have you ever made a laminated bow that shot off your hand like a self bow, only modern? Thanks. Great vids.
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. We made a bow one. We had a guy that wanted to go elk hunting. I think he was from Colorado, and he wanted us to build a self bow laminated bow.
And that was solid U with.
Yeah. So what we did, but wasn't it a 2-piece?
I don't know if it was.
No, it wasn't. But
it was sparred like a 2-piece.
I put an
because
I-beam
U's
in it
soft.
because U is really too weak for a riser. So I put an I-beam in it, but I did a hidden I-beam, and I milled it in on my mill, so you couldn't see the I-beam in the riser, and it was all solid Pacific U. It was awesome, but it still had a shelf, so I don't think I've ever done that. I would do it. It'd be a piece of cake. It'd be easy.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard.
I just never had a request for it.
Let's see. Where were we at?
Right here.
Oh.
While I'm thinking about it, I may want to get my GPAS Old York restored back from you boys. Do you know average cost of a restoration offhand, or should I email you? Thanks. Yeah, I'll tell you the average cost. So if you do a weight reduction, so if we do a weight reduction, it's always going to get refinished, because if we take material off or anything, we're not going to send a bow back that looks like it's been sanded on somewhere. When it leaves here, it's going to be perfect. So, a weight reduction and refinish is $200. A restoration to where we say we would carve the grip, say we would radius the shelf and side plate, say we would reinforce the tips for fast flight. That you're going to get in the neighborhood of around $250 to $300 for something like that. And then, each additional accessory, say you want beaver tail on it, that'll be an additional charge. But ballpark, just to give a more straightforward answer, weight reduction, refinish, $200. A full restoration, which includes refinish and everything, is probably going to be closer around $300 and up.
Let's see. Which side do you sand to get rid of the twist?
Okay, that's a good question. So, let's see. I'm going to grab a bow here. All right. So this is a Bear Kodiak Hunter. This is one of the bows I got from Bill. It's pretty cool. It's got zebra wood. You can see the old finish is really, really checking and cracking. They put the finish on real thick back in those days. Excuse me. But okay. So the question was, which side do I take off of the limb if there's a twist in it? Okay. So say for instance, so when you look at twist in the limb, you're always gonna hold the bow and put it on its tip, and you're gonna look down onto the belly side. So you don't check the twist. You don't look down onto the back to check the twist on a bow. So, say for instance, this limb was twisted like that. I hope you can see that. Say it was twisted like that. What that means is something in this side of the limb or some force is stronger than this side of the limb. So it's pulling over. So in order to correct that, if it's twisting this way, you take material off this side, because you're weakening the side that it's pulling to, because that side is overpowering the other side. So you're going to take material off this side. If it was twisted this way, you take material off this side. So an easy way to remember it is whichever way it's twisted to, that's the side you take material off. Okay. Okay. That sounds exactly what I'm thinking of. How was it? I'm confused on that one. Oh, that was for the price. Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. All right. That's all the questions.
Well, we still
Okay.
got 51 people watching,
Oh,
which is amazing.
yeah.
And
Thank you guys. We
Yeah,
love you
thank you
so
guys.
much. Our customers are the best in the world, and we wouldn't have this company without you guys. So, you got another one.
Your preferred all-purpose bow, something that Travis could use when he's up in a tree, working hogs, putting a rabid cow down, or getting rid of a wolf that attacked his yeller dog.
That's good. I like that.
All right.
Your preferred.
So, anyway, so the preferred all-purpose bow,
This might be a Nick and Shane
Yes.
question. So we'll let Nick answer first.
the B model longbow is the perfect all-purpose bow. You want it in about a 62 or a 64, depending on your draw. It's fast enough to hunt with. It's quiet. You can throw this out of a tree and it's not going to have any limb twist issues. This thing is bulletproof. They use them on Naked and Afraid.
Yep.
This is the same bow that what's his name, Matt Wright uses.
Yeah.
On Naked and Afraid and all of his survival stuff. The B model longbow as an all-purpose bow.
When he says B
Perfect.
model, it's our R&D longbow.
Yeah.
If you watched any of our YouTube, you know everything is named B model at Great Plains, even our dogs. You know, I would probably have to agree with Nick on that. If you're gonna pick one bow all-purpose, our R&D longbow is just pretty hard to beat. I personally am a huge fan of recurve, so I'm gonna hunt with a recurve. I just like the speed and yeah, I just like the performance of a recurve. But when I think about an all-purpose bow and the ability for a recurve to twist more than a longbow, I'm gonna have to go with the longbow also, because like our longbows, our R&D longbows, I mean, you could throw them down a mountain and pick it up and go kill an elk. So if I take that into consideration, I'd have to say the R&D longbow also. Let's see. John says, you did not charge me enough for the Cobras. Oh, yeah. No, I feel compensated, John. John is actually, he is working with us. I hope it's okay that I say this. He is designing pneumatic riser clamps for me to clamp. We're really excited about that. He is working on designing a jig setup that will use air cylinders to clamp our risers, and then it'll have a little box, and then you tighten the bolts, and then you take that whole thing and put it in the oven. But if it works, and it should, he sent us a video, it's going to cut our clamping time just in half. So we're really excited about that. He's coming out next Friday, and we're going to spend a day in the shop, so we're excited.
Let's see.
Okay.
What are some of the better shooting vintage bows you've refinished?
Oh, you missed some up here.
Oh,
Not a question. Thanks for your work and your great bows. I'm not sure. Right. Oh, you're welcome, Frank. You know what? We really don't hardly keep up, to be honest. But we try. Hello from Mississippi. Hey, David. Hey, guys. Love your videos. Thanks for being so generous with the information. You're welcome. We don't hide anything from you guys. So we'll tell you anything. If you want to build a bow, we'll help you. So we're here for you. What are some of the better shooting vintage bows you have refinished, especially for long draw archers? Gordon, so that's a good question. so far to date, my all-time favorite would be the Bear 59 Purple Heart.
That one was incredible.
Yeah, is that a Kodiak? I don't
I
have one.
can't remember.
But you can find it by just searching 59 Purple Heart. I want to say, yeah. But it's a 50 style recurve, incredible speed, incredible smoothness, and I don't know if you would call it. It's a 60-inch bow, but it would handle drop to easily 30 or 31. Now over that, I know you said for long draws. I don't know. That's the one that comes to mind. Of all the ones I've restored so many different brands. To me, that of the vintage ones, that is. Now there's some of the custom bowyers that have better performing, but of the vintage bows, that one pretty much wins all the awards for performance.
Let's see. Does Nick have a goal in mind for those locks? Down to the knees, perhaps?
Locks? Oh!
The locks.
Yeah.
When it finally gets long enough that I trip over it, it's going away.
Yeah.
But I'm not cutting that. I'm keeping it.
Well, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
So much fun.
Yes.
Just in case you're in a survival situation, I always have cordage with me.
Well, I thought, if we're in a survival situation, we can slowly, cut sections off to start our fires with.
I mean, it works for that too.
It
Wouldn't smell pretty.
It
But
smell horrible. Depends on how much garlic you've been eating.
have you ever considered putting a full pistol type grip on a hybrid, say 66 reflex deflex? We actually, that turquoise one,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was close to it.
It's
but
close to it. If you go back and look at our YouTube shorts, we did one that was close to that.
with the, it was on a live stream last time, the turquoise and cedar.
Was it?
Yeah, FR4 riser.
We can do
And that
anything.
was a
Like
60.
I mean, if you ordered a bow and said, "Hey, I want a super aggressive forward handle," we could do it for you tomorrow. I mean, we'll do that for you if you request us to. We'll make it as high as you want. We can make it completely horizontal if you want.
Let's see, how do you feel about bowling?
Wait, you missed one.
I missed one.
What wood do you like to work with most? Ooh, that's a good question.
Maple.
No,
Maple.
no,
Babinga.
no.
Zebra.
Both of no. You're saying the woods we don't care to work with.
I love maple because it just grinds and it's perfect and it's happy.
Dude, maple, no, it burns when you're carving risers. That
On the
stuff.
finish side, yeah, probably, but gluing it up,
Okay.
it's easy.
I see what you're
it
saying.
doesn't move.
No, I don't
You
like.
don't have to worry about moisture or glue lines, or it's just.
It is a stable wood. No,
Oh,
I would
yeah.
say my favorite to work with on my end of the shop. Nick does all the glue up, and I take it from after he glues the tips on, and then I take it from that point. And so I guess my favorite probably would be Cocobolo.
Osage.
Osage is real good.
Yeah, I
Osage.
forgot about Osage.
It grinds beautifully. People say it's so hard with our machinery, or we use 40 grit paper. It's like butter.
Oh, Osage is just.
It's gorgeous, and it's so
Wonderful.
dense. It's just a wonderful bow wood. Another one of my favorites would be like Honduras rosewood. It smells really good. Kingwood. Kingwood's really fun to work with. Some of those. So, how do you feel about bow length versus draw length?
Well, that really depends on your limb design and all
Yeah.
of that. And so
There's a lot of factors that go into that, but what I say, here's what I personally like to do. So, a lot of people, they think stacking is a four-letter word. But for me personally, okay, so there's a big difference between using up the full potential of your bow limb or not using it. When you don't use the full potential of your bow limb,
well, you're wasting the energy of that limb.
Yeah,
to
you're
move
wasting-
what's not.
that's
putting
right.
in any
You're
energy.
wasting potential energy. What you get from that is vibration. You get hand torque, all kinds of nasty stuff. So really,
And it slows down your arrow.
slows
speed.
down your arrow, changes the spine of your arrow. But what you want is, what I like to say is, when I draw my bow, right at the very end, maybe like the half, and you've got to kind of draw some bows to feel this, but at the half inch from being at my full draw is 29. So like at 28 and a half, I like to feel it stacking. I like to feel just a little bit of more weight come on than it has been throughout the draw. That tells me that I'm using the full potential of my limb and it's not uncomfortable. Now, if you're stacking for 2 inches, no good. That bow's too short for you. But if you just feel it clear at the end, that's probably the right bow to maximize the full potential energy of your bow limb. However, if you are a 3D archer and you're not a hunter and you just simply you want it to be butter smooth all the way back, then disregard that little bit of stacking at the end. You don't want to feel that at all. So in that case, you want to go ahead and get a longer length of bow. Let's see. 59er is a Kodiak. Yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I thought it was a Kodiak. I wasn't sure.
Do you guys happen to go to any local shoots with your bows, like the traditional shoot in Clearwater?
Clearwater, is that in Kansas? Bailey says that's in Kansas.
There's also Clearwater, Oklahoma, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think there is. We've never been to
Wait,
that
there's
one.
not a clear water.
We might have not known about
It's
it.
cold water.
Cold water. That.
You have to.
Yeah, maybe there's no.
But there's a clear water in Oklahoma.
Maybe it's Clearwater, Oklahoma. Yeah, we'd probably go if we were invited. Are the ambidextrous bows still available? If so, how do you feel about thumb draw on that bow? If the tiller.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah, perfect.
the ambidextrous bow, we sent one to Armin Hermer, and I think that was a 68. I think that's the first 68 we did.
Yeah,
And how they're tillered, you can shoot them thumb draw, because it's an adjustable tiller, so
yeah,
it's always tillered correctly for the shelf that you have
Yeah.
on that side. And so he shot it thumb draw, he shot it split finger, and he shot it 3 under, and
Yep.
it shoots great for all of those.
yeah. His was a 68-inch 2-piece Eldorado ambidextrous adjustable tiller bow. That was a cool bow, and he loved it. So
And he's got a video showing it off too, if you want
yeah,
to
he's
see
got
it
a video.
shot
Yep,
with
yeah,
a thumb draw.
yeah. I've said this some of the other videos I have. Your model be 3-piece takedown. I was thinking I would like to try some reflex deflex link for it, just to try it out. Oh, okay. I remember that comment. I think your comment was the model be 3-piece. Oh, I think you were asking me on YouTube if I could build longbow limbs for my 3-piece B model takedown. And yes, I can. I could. But I think I mentioned on there that, a special project like that takes a lot more time. I have to a lot more time because if I'm not jigged up for it, I have to do everything by hand. So yes, it's possible, but it would probably be quite a long wait to get something like that.
Have you ever worked with persimmon as a riser wood? A lot grows down here, and it's pretty tough stuff. Well, persimmon's actually in the ebony family.
Tell me another word for persimmon. Is there another more common? Because like I did for years, I didn't even know cedar was called juniper. Is there? I wonder. Bailey's looking it up.
Bailey to the rescue.
Yeah.
But persimmon's in the ebony family, and so it should. I think it's the only native.
It's in the ebony family.
And it should have real similar characteristics to ebony.
Well, I don't see why it wouldn't work then.
I think it would be an amazing thing.
I've never used it.
I wonder.
What's another word for persimmon?
We need to get our hands on some
American
persimmon.
ebony,
Ebony, really?
possum wood,
Oh, you
white
were right.
ebony,
Mhm.
barra, boa wood,
Can't
boa
remember.
wood,
Huh.
and butterwood.
What's the scientific name or the Latin?
Oh boy.
Scientific name?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's.
Say it.
I'm gonna butcher it. Hold on.
It's something ebonous, right?
Ebonous. Yeah. If it's in the ebony family, it should work.
Yeah. Diospyros virginiana. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that sounds right. No, that sounds right. Okay. So what happened to the black hunter bows you tuned? Do you still have them? And those sold a long time ago.
We actually need to do another run of those.
Yeah, we should.
Just for the fun of it.
Yeah. Mad Bear Production, thanks, boys. He might be tuning out. Any update on when your ILF riser will be out? Oh man, I would love to. Oh, I need to do it, but there, it's probably I don't have an update. If I did, if I gave you an update right now, you know, I would probably miss that deadline, and then that's not cool. So it's better to not give it a time when you think it'll be ready than to give one and miss it. So I really don't have an update on that at this time. The Ninesca bow hunters. Oh, I've
That's-
seen that before.
That's the Clearwater.
That's the Clearwater.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I've never been. I've never been to that one. Yeah.
Is it possible to make a heavier pounded short bow, for example, 50-inch, 70-pound at 29 recurve or hybrid? It's gonna stack.
Yeah. What's
It's gonna stack.
yeah. Heavier poundage short bow. I mean, yeah. It's absolutely possible.
Because the problem isn't the weight; it's
Yeah, it's the limb profile.
the limb profile,
Yeah.
and then the length of draw there. So
Oh, but he said continue. That doesn't stack.
yeah, it's gonna.
Ooh. You know.
The only way to do that would be have rear-mounted limbs with a brace that braces.
Yeah.
You know, where it's not a lot of movement in your limb to get to brace.
You know, there's a bow out there, and I've got to get my hands on it yet. Some people have them. I don't know if they're still made. Maybe you guys can tell me. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They're called the JT Magnums and the KT Magnums.
Mm-hmm. Shaped like a triangle.
Yeah, they're shaped like a triangle. A bow like that, you possibly could get heavy poundages and with less stacking. I don't know if you could totally remove the stack, but I want to get my hands on one of those bows so bad. I seen one for sale on eBay and I missed it. By the time I got my credit card out, somebody bought it. But I would love to restore one of those. I mean, they're not super old. They've been around a while, but I would love to get my hands on one of those and shoot it and work on it. So if anybody knows of one anywhere, I would buy it or I'd restore it for you or something.
Let's see.
What do you suggest for someone with a 25 to 26 inch draw who never has been able to get the full potential energy out of bow lines meant for 20 inch draw? That's a really good question. And to be honest, most bowyers these days build on the platform of 28 inch draw. With that being said,
25 to 26. I'm trying to.
well, with that being said, what happens is all these bows have limbs that are designed for a 28 inch draw. So whenever you short draw them, they say, oh yeah, that's fine. I can build you a bow that will handle a short draw. It'll be fine. However, they do not have the same performance because you're not using the full potential of the bow because most bows are designed for a 28 inch draw. There's actually very, very few bows out there that are adult bows that have the limb profile built in that are made for, like, say, a 23, 26 inch draw. 23 to 26 inch draw.
Our youth bow with the youth recurve.
Even that, it's not really because you need an adult bow with adult parameters.
Yeah.
And you need a shorter rod. Everything has to be in proportion.
58-inch B model.
Nope, that wouldn't do it. You're still not using the full potential of it. And you can't just, and it doesn't work to just take, say you have a bow and you're like, oh, I'll just cut it shorter. That doesn't work. Because, let's look, for example, okay, so this R&D bow right here, this B model longbow. All right, so say somebody called me and I said, oh yeah, I can build you a bow for 26 inches. I'll just cut down my B model. That does not work. Because say I would cut it down to here. Look what happens to the limbs.
Right.
There's no profile left. There's no profile left. So, sorry, Bailey says to center it better. Sorry about that, guys. But if you cut down
Well, that's a 64.
No, let me finish my thought here. So what a guy would need to do is to redesign it for a short draw. Make the riser shorter. You put your deflex portion here, over here, over here. And that is in the plans here at Great Plains. This may be the fella that I talked to about this, that commented. I'm not sure. He'll probably let me know. But
But that's a 64.
That's a 64. Same
So-
concept.
Take it down to there, and that'd be 56. And it's
Still, yeah, you're still losing. Then you've got way too much fade, and you got to redesign it. Anyway, to finish my
Well-
thought, this fella reached out to me and said that he could never find a bow because he has a really super short. I think his draw was 24, 25 inches, and he had numerous bowyers telling him that, oh, it'd be fine. You know, they would just either let him use the youth bow, or they would just make him a really short bow based on the same platform of their other bows, but just make the limbs shorter. Well, like I just explained, that simply does not work. You have to design the limb profile for a 24-inch draw on an adult platform. And that is something I will be doing in the next, hopefully this year. I will be designing a bow that is an adult bow, but is made for super, super short draws, but still has all the potential of a full, say, for instance, reflex, deflex, longbow limb. I hope that makes sense.
what about 54-inch swift limbs with uniweft in them to keep them from twisted?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how short the guy's draw is.
Yeah.
You know, there's I've ran into adults with draw lengths down in the low 20s, and they almost can't find a bow
Yeah.
because all the little short bows are youth bows. Well, then they have tiny risers, and they're just not designed for adults. And a bowyer, there's got to be a bowyer out there that finally takes the initiative and makes one, and I'm gonna do it. And somebody might beat me to it, but I'm definitely gonna do it. I'm also running a 26-inch draw, and while I was looking to try different limbs, the best it found for performance at my draw is the quick stick. Okay, that's good information. I've heard that too. Some of the Bodnik bows. Is the quick stick a Bodnik?
I think so, but I don't
Seems
know.
like it. The shrew bows are pretty good for short draws. I've heard. I've had a couple in my shop. One of them was a pretty good performer. One was terrible, and I don't remember why.
Because it was tilted backwards, if I remember.
Oh, I think it had reverse tiller, but we fixed that and it was
Yeah.
fine.
Does the same concept apply?
I shouldn't
to-
say that. That's rude to say another bowyer's bow is terrible. I apologize for that.
Does the same concept apply to a long draw like the 30s? Not really.
Not as much, not nearly as much, because with the bows being designed at a 28-inch platform, 28-inch draw length, with all the adult bows basically designed off that, you have way more room to go up than you do down. So like we have bows here. Oh, for instance, our 3-piece Swift. If you get it in the 62-inch, that's a fantastic limb for 30 to 32 inches. And you're going to max it out at about 32 inches, but it's still going to be about perfect for you. And it's still going to just deliver a raging fast arrow and very smoothly. But that's because if you look at our Swift, and you see how much it deflexes toward the archer, and then it's got a real aggressive hook up there.
And also the length of it is adjusted down here, and so your actual profile doesn't change.
That's right, yeah. So we adjust our wedges and long, thin fade outs. So that's just a real deadly, efficient, smooth, powerful limb. So our 62-inch Swift 3-piece will handle draws effortlessly up to 32 inches.
Let's know when the short draw bows are available.
Oh, I will. I will let you guys know. I've got the plans in the top drawer underneath the stairway. If you come here, you could steal them because now you know where they're at. I got the template in there. So it's going to happen, and I'm real excited about it. But like I tell Nick, we've got to create space. And by creating space, that means we got to work our tails off to get our work done so we have some time for these really fun projects, because that's what we live for, is designing stuff, and that's what a bowyer lives for. We have to do piecework because that's our job. We got to cut parts out and build them into bows, But what we really live for is designing new bows and that kind of stuff, experimenting, testing. I always said if somebody paid my living and I could just build experimental bows and test them and video them, that's what I do all day, every day. But that's just not how life works, unfortunately. So
We have 60 folks watching.
they are awesome.
That's amazing. Our channel wouldn't be where it's at without y'all.
Yeah. So we're gonna do something here. We got 10 minutes left, and what we're gonna do is if you comment, we're gonna write your name down. If you get the answer right, we're gonna write your name down on the list, and then we're gonna draw from that list, and whoever wins, we're gonna send you a T-shirt. And it's a pretty simple question. You'll probably all know it. And if you get the answer correctly, we'll write your name down, and then we're gonna draw from that list. So the question is, what kind of glue do we use in our bow limbs in the forum? So answer that question in the comments, and we will write your names down, and then we'll draw from that and send a free T-shirt to you. So while they're doing that, is there anything else we wanted to cover?
Let's see.
Type bond 3.
Well, just let them all answer it, and we'll.
Well, I was gonna write them down.
No, write their names down, not
Yeah,
the
I
answer.
know, but
Oh. Yeah, that's a glue.
is that the right one? You can't say, huh? Okay.
Frank Selman says sticky.
I mean, it is sticky.
It's
glue.
sticky. If you get it in your hair, it's real sticky. Elmer's.
Best glue available.
Hey, you know what? With the last 8 minutes here, I'm going to show you guys the score I got today. The 9 bows that I got from Bill Foreman. I bought them. So let's just look at these real quick. Okay, first up is this Herder's target bow, 46 at 28. Pretty cool bow. Mick, if you want to hand them to me.
Yeah.
All right. And then I got this, this is a Bear Kodiak Hunter with a zebra wood riser. This is a pretty cool bow. They're all cool. All right, what do we got next? Okay, check out this thing. That is a wing. I'm not super familiar with wings. This is called a white wing, and but it's got real skinny recurve limbs. Not a super aggressive hook on it, but I'm excited to try it. When you narrow a recurve down, you sit down here. When you narrow a recurve limb down, you tend to get a little better performance as long as you're not building twist into it, because there's less resistance and it's skinnier, so it actually is a little faster. All right, what's next, Nick? All right, here we got. This is a Ben Pearson spoiler. Now, I thought that was quite an interesting name to name your bow, the spoiler. Kind of interesting. It's an interesting bow all the way around. What I was intrigued by, first off, well, the riser is kind of a unique shape. I'm not familiar with this bow, but if you look at the limbs here, it's got a little bit of static built into that hook portion of the recurve. So it is mostly, this is going to be, I can tell from looking at this limb that it's mostly a working recurve, but because it's so aggressive right at the end, there's going to be a little bit of static properties in this recurve also. So that's cool. All right, here we got a Ben Pearson All-American, another bow that I've never had in my shop, a Ben Pearson All-American. This one has a more open recurve hook portion, so that should make it fairly smooth. I would guess this one won't be super fast.
Well, we'll reinforce the tips with FR4.
That's right, so it doesn't have tip reinforcements, so we have to reinforce those. But one thing we liked about this right off is it's got a real comfortable handle riser there. It's kind of got a dip. You can see that dip.
The riser's real similar to
Yeah, it's real. We to the
Shatterproof archery.
Shatterproof Archery bones.
Bare bones.
Bare bones. The bare bones. The Shatterproof Archery bare bones um, reflex deflex longbow. It kind of resembles their riser. So, all right. Up next, another Ben Pearson. This is a Raider. We got a lot of Ben Pearsons here, which is pretty cool. I haven't worked on a lot of Ben Pearsons. This bow here, it's got a chonky handle. I mean, it's a handful here. If you could see that, how thick that is. It's not bad. It's comfortable. But
it looks like it's injection molded plastic.
I believe it is injection molded plastic. Well, this part sure looks like it, but it's a little too big for my taste. But it's not uncomfortable. It's not completely comfortable either. Now this is another one that I'm a bit intrigued with by the recurve portion. I'm just interested to see how it'll perform because it's pretty aggressive in the hook portion there. So, all right. So here we've got this is a Ben Pearson javelina. He had a lot of Ben Pearsons. I'm not saying the weights on these, but they're all kind of around the 40, 45 pound. This is a 45 pound, and this has got the little horns, like I call them, just like the Herder's has, but not as aggressive. Not a bad looking bow. The riser's really comfortable. Here again, you've got a pretty straight area coming off of the riser here, and a very open recurve hook portion. So I don't anticipate this one being super fast, but we'll see. We'll shoot them all. They're all in very good shape. Well, this one does have a pretty big chip right there. Easy fix. I've noticed on all of these though, the side plates and shells are just completely straight. There's no radius anywhere. So,
do you want the left hand one of those two?
All right, so we got two of these. One's a left hand. We won't worry about. They're identical, so we'll just show the right hand. But this is your Bear Archery. This would be more of your competition 3D recurve bow. You know, it's got the sight in there. So, you know, very heavy bow. And I'm pretty interested in this and how it'll shoot. There again, just looking at the limb, you got quite a bit more deflex in this bow than the others we looked at. But a shallow, it's a tighter hook, but it's shallow. It's not real tight, not nearly as tight as our Swift, but it's not real open either. But it's fairly long and shallow. Now, one thing I noticed on this bow that was kind of intriguing, I was looking at this and I expected this to be phenolic. I know this is zebra wood here, but I was thinking this would be a phenolic. But when I looked inside here, where they cut out that place for the sight, there again, it looks like injection molded plastic. Maybe somebody knows if these were actually plastic here, or if this was a type of phenolic that doesn't really have the weave like I'm used to in linen phenolic. But if I look in here where I can see the mill part, it doesn't have the weave or the fibers that you would normally see in linen phenolic. So I found that quite interesting. I'll know a lot more once I sand it and I can see the texture of it underneath the finish. But
the other thing, that stabilizer doohickey is way up on that wrist there.
Yeah, it is. That's another really interesting thing. I wonder why it's so high. Or could that be for a wrist strap?
Could be for a wrist strap.
Because it's so high, I mean, my ring finger falls right on that stabilizer bushing hole. And if you were going to, or maybe it's a wrist strap, if you were going to have a stabilizer there, that sure wouldn't work very well. Most of the stabilizers are down here, about right in this area. So that's kind of interesting. So a lot of neat bows, and we're going to have a lot of fun, and you guys will probably see most of them when I restore them on YouTube at some point. So, all right, 7:59, guys. We're going to cut it off. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, Drake bows, early days. Are you familiar with the history?
I am not.
I'm not either.
Oh, we are going to announce the winner of the t-shirt before we get off of here.
And let's see, I'm seriously considering reaching out.
Oh, thank you. Okay, what were the last questions?
So, considering adding glass to,
My old 1968 Yukon by 24 and refinish it. It was passed down to me and shoots really well, but has lost some pounds. Adding glass to a bow, it can be done. It's a big job. It's a big job. It's never. It would be very expensive because I would have to build a form for it. I've done it before. It's not an easy procedure, and you've got to get it perfect if you want that bow to perform like it did. So we would just have to talk on the phone about it and see if you were, because it would be very expensive. But we can do that. If you're interested, give me a call, text me on my cell. My number's on the website. All right. Looking for a green glass maple recurve. Can you get green? Yeah, I think we can get green glass. Yeah, they haven't said we can't. I don't know if we have any right now. We might. Yep. Okay. Thank you for taking the time out of your Friday to share your wealth of knowledge making sawdust. Looking forward to your next live vid show. You're welcome, John. We are looking forward to it also. Thank you guys so much for joining. We appreciate every one of you. You mean a lot to us, and we're going to announce the winner here. Okay. Let's see. We had 1, 2. Okay, so the answer for the question of what glue do we use in the bow limb glue up, Nick will tell you.
EA40 Smooth On.
Yeah. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's it.
We had 7 right answers. So
Well, there's a couple come in
wait,
late.
did we get Dale? Yeah, we got Dale. Yeah, so we got them all. Yep, we got you all. Okay, let me quick go draw these here.
Also, while he's drawing,
All
thank you guys. If you want to help us out, share the channel with your friends. Get your friends to subscribe. If everybody who's watching right now sent it to 10 people and had them subscribe, we'd have another 600 subscribers.
Yeah,
And that would be amazing.
that would be amazing. Yeah. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. The winner of the EA40, which glue do we use in the bow limbs, is David Moore. So David Moore, I hope you're still on here. Reach out to us. You can find my contact info on the website. Either text me, email me, and just send us your address, and we'll get your t-shirt. Oh, and your size, and we'll get your shirt sent out to you. Appreciate you guys. We're gonna sign off here, and we're gonna try to do a live stream every month this year. So it'll be the first Friday of every month. So we'll see you guys on the live stream in March. First Friday in March. Have a good evening.
Thank you guys.